My name is Chris Silva. I'm the President and CEO of the Taunton Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Chamber's quarterly Q&A series. This marks the 5th year of our quarterly Q&A series. We've been fortunate to have Mayor O'Connell join us twice a year at our invitation, so thank you very much. We truly appreciate your commitment to keeping our chamber connected and informed about what's happening in the city. So today's session will focus on citywide issues and initiatives that impact our business community. I'll be asking questions that we've prepared ahead of time, and if time allows at the end, I'll take additional questions from the chat. If we can't get to additional questions, as usual, or your questions references an individual matter, as is our practice, I'll forward those along with your contact information so that the mayor's office and the OECD can respond to you directly. Joining Mayor O'Connell today are our Chief Financial Officer, Patrick Delarusso.
Hello, everyone.
And Director of the Office of Economic Development and Community Development, Jay Patikas.
Hello.
So first, I'd like to start off by thanking this session's sponsor, which is TMLP Online, and invite Lee Him, Marketing and Compliance Specialist, to say a few words on their behalf.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everyone. So, certainly on behalf of the Taunton Municipal Lighting Plants Internet Services Group, we're honored to sponsor today Chamber's quarterly Q&A with Mayor Shaunna O'Connell. So I find these sessions very valuable as it gives us an opportunity to, bring the business community together, hear, what our city leadership, has, ask questions, certainly stay connected to the priorities that's shaping Taunton's future. So, here at the TMLP, we're certainly, always committed to connection. So that's, with us expanding our fiber broadband, modernizing our backbone for, better reliability, or helping to support critical municipal and safety networks. So we're proud to invest in that. And we certainly want to keep helping our city grow stronger, be certainly more resilient, definitely more competitive. And so we're proud to, stand alongside the chamber, help to foster these types of dialogues and collaboration across, all our communities. So certainly thank you for joining us, and thank you to Mayor O'Connell and the chamber for, creating this forum. So I look forward to, the conversation ahead. Thank you. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Lee. And just yesterday, we celebrated 20 years of membership with TMLP Online with the Chamber. So thank you very much for your support and collaboration with us. We appreciate it greatly. So I'll turn it over to Mayor O'Connell for some opening remarks, and then we'll dive into our questions.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. As Chris said, we've been doing this for a long time, and we really appreciate the opportunity to receive questions from everyone, to update people on what's going on. And we really appreciate all of the different relationships we have, the collaborations and partnerships. TMLP has been, a wonderful partner on so many levels, providing excellent service across all of their, various departments, services they provide. And our newest collaboration with TMLP has been our solar projects.
Oh.
And that is something that is, it's good for TMLP, good for the city, and of course, good for the ratepayers. So, just one example of how we can really work together to ease the burden on people, to provide better services, and also to make our community greener. So we'll look forward to another ribbon cutting on that soon. But we've got some great questions from everyone today, and we're excited to answer them and give you updates on all of the wonderful things that are happening in Taunton. And I know it's some time out of everyone's day, but we really appreciate that you do take the time to hang out with us for a while and have these conversations.
Thank you very much. I will launch in. Can you provide an update on the city's capital improvement and economic investment plan?
Sure, I'll start, and then Patrick, I'm sure will want to jump in on this. This is another first for Taunton, creating our capital improvement plan. When Patrick came on board, that was one of the first things that we wanted to do, because there's been a lot of, projects in Taunton that needed to be addressed. And unless you have, a plan, black and white on paper, you're meeting with all your departments, you're putting that together, understanding the needs and the priorities, that's how you really move it forward and get it done. And then, of course, funding the capital improvement plan is a big.
I think some
And,
little bit of a delay and technical difficulties this morning, but go ahead.
oh, okay, we're good.
Yes.
So it's updated each year. And one thing that's really unique about our plan is we focus not only on the infrastructure and our buildings, but we also focus on people. So we've created programs to provide assistance to residents in Taunton, like our EMS home visit wellness program, where we partner with Brewster Ambulance.
Hmm.
And so those are just, some of the things that we do. Also, quality of life. We think about quality of life and improving our parks and our outdoor spaces. So a lot of that is in our capital improvement program. You can see Memorial Park being done. I know everyone is very eager for Duval Park to open. We've just been having a little issue with the grass growing there. And so we want to ensure that it's ready to go. And so Parks and Rec Commission are discussing that, and we're hoping that that'll be the beginning of October. And along with the dog park next door, which is something that people have wanted in Taunton for a long time. So with our capital improvement program, we're really able to fill a lot of different needs and get a lot of different projects done. One of the, I think, most noticeable things that we have done are the roads, paving so many roads and improving sidewalks. And we were just notified yesterday that we're getting another award for our progress and our efforts in paving road. It's called the Napa Award. I think Patrick can touch on a little bit more.
Sure, it's another national award. It's the second consecutive year that the O'Connell administration has been able to deliver this prestigious award to the city. So we're actually going to be, Mayor's actually going to be receiving it today. Believe it or not, it was a surprise yesterday from our paving partners that so we're really excited about that. But just to kind of elaborate a little bit on what the mayor said, you got to remember the CIP was at $122 million have been invested into the city during the O'Connell administration. Approximately 80 million of which went into public infrastructure. And I think something that's really impressive about the O'Connell administration's approach to our spending program is our savings program, because while we have spent a considerable amount on infrastructure, we've also brought our stabilization balances to record amounts, which really puts us in a position to withstand economic downturn in the event that comes our way. So I think that's one of the other attributable highlights to the mayor's program. It's not just spending, it's saving, and it's being very responsible. And the projects that we have are projects that have been sitting on a shelf literally since 2013, some of them. And I can also report that in the CIP that every single designed water project that we have has been completed with CIP4. So now capital is going to be design work for new water projects, because all the projects are off the shelf.
Yeah, and I think in addition to that, Patrick, we're going to be designated as a lead-free community.
That's correct. Yes, we were notified that DEP will be issuing a formal citation to the city, providing us a lead-free designation, meaning that all water infrastructure in the city contains no lead piping whatsoever.
Thank you very much, Patrick and Mayor O'Connell. Moving on to the next question. About 2 years ago, you created the city's Marketable Properties program, and many of us have seen Jay's LinkedIn posts featuring these properties. What can you tell us about the progress of this program?
Sure. So the Marketable Properties program was a really innovative program that our team created. And I believe we actually won an award for that as well. Patrick, am I right? No?
Yes, we were recognized nationally with the GFOA, one of 14 communities that actually implemented a program such as this, which was really a great thing. Our whole team got to go down there and get acknowledged from that group. The only one of 14 communities in the North American continent. I apologize.
No, that's great. And so how it works is, we've identified city-owned parcels that just have been, sitting there for a long time, some of them with buildings, some of them not. Some examples that I'm sure everyone is familiar with is, well, actually, it wasn't city-owned, but the Baconfeld property, we took that property, and so now we're redeveloping that, and that will really be, great economic development for the Ware section of our city. In Whittington, we're redeveloping for the Whittington Mills parcel of land, the Leonard School building. So parcels that have just sat for a very long time. We cataloged them all, and so some of them we're selling, some of them we're preserving. In our entire plan so far, we've preserved, I believe, about 120 acres of open space. And so we know open space is important to people. It's absolutely important to us. And, what it provides for, quality of life and being outdoors. So if you're familiar with the Pudding Stone property, which is like Rocky Woods area, we've worked with Mass Fish and Game to preserve, I think, about 60 acres or so, and
60, and they're looking for more.
so we continue to work with them to ensure that we're preserving some of the really beautiful spots in Taunton. But the other, real benefit of the Marketable Properties program, in addition to cleaning up properties, creating more economic development, more housing, is that it's also allowed us to create a program to help our local businesses. So we've received $2.1 million so far. Different types of grants to really spur that economic development, help bring business to Taunton, and people recognize that we strongly support businesses that we have an open door, we roll out the red carpet, and people are really wanting to come to Taunton. So it's been a huge success here for our community, for the residents, and to bring in new development here in the city of Taunton.
Yeah, and from my end, I mean, the Marketable Properties program is something that's definitely helped us to help businesses. A lot of the businesses have a hard time coming up with capital to start their businesses. So we've been able to produce low interest loans for some of these businesses, especially in the downtown area that you're enjoying their restaurants now. And it's just something that it's a tool for us to be able to give to the business community and try to make them as successful as possible. One of the things I just wanted to differentiate, so the Marketable Properties program, we also have a Blighted Properties program, which is something that's mostly residential, that we're going after blighted sites. And I know part of this question is also the Walgreens properties and stuff. We have 3 empty Walgreens, including the third one just closed on September 9th. And we are very cognizant of trying to fill these. We have Ace Hardware is going to be in the city today looking at the Winthrop Street Walgreens site that just closed last week. We've also reached out to Aldi's as far as, because we need some food in that area. We've heard from the Winthrop area, and I think that's a separate question I won't get into too much now, but we are definitely targeting the Walgreens sites. We've tried to get different businesses into these sites. And just like most of the spaces across the city, it's just trying to connect the developer or the business with the site, and it's something that we've been working hard on.
I think something else to just go back to the MPP program for a minute. I mean, one of the biggest advantages of how we structured the cash side of things with the MPP is the fact that half the money goes into that account that Jay was speaking of that allows them to help businesses, but the other half goes into our sale of real estate account, which allows us to go after some of these blighted properties in the event that it costs money to do demo liens, right? So to clean up neighborhoods. So they're both programs are they kind of help each other out. And so the mayor's vision of economic development, how do we spur that and continue that? Really is a holistic approach, and it allows us to not only create program revenue from the loans, but it also allows anytime a sale occurs for us to maintain a cash reserve to be able to operate, to continue the revitalization efforts.
Great. Thank all three of you for chiming in on that question. I have some questions about the South Coast Rail, finally up and running. Folks are excited about that. Do you have any sense of what the utilization has been?
Jay, do you have the?
I have all that, yeah. So we have May numbers. They haven't come out with the new numbers yet because I know there's been some schedule tweaks. So we expect new numbers. So as of the daily average coming out of the Taunton terminal is 1,380 passengers. So we've been there a lot, and it looks like the parking lot is just about half full, and that's kind of a little deceiving because the parking lot is massive. So if you go to most of the MBTA parking lots, you're going to see most of the parking lots are, half full or 3/4 full. But it's 1,380 daily. Saturday is 987, and Sunday is 948. So I mean, obviously, initial numbers a month after it opened. So we're expecting, people are getting more comfortable. And I know the highway at least doubling by this time next year.
How about noise complaints? What is happening with that?
Yes, we've certainly had some concerns from residents who live, in close proximity to the station or to a rail passing, and we can understand that. So we do talk a lot with representatives of South Coast Rail, and our residents have also advocated for themselves. And so I think because of our combined efforts and also our legislative delegation as well, really expressing our deep concerns, there is now going to be a noise program assessment, I guess you could call it. So South Coast Rail is conducting that. We also asked them to provide us with other mitigation answers to those problems. And so there's a few different things that can happen. Some people have probably heard of quiet zones. So we've asked for information on that. We want to really know all the pros and cons. This is very new to Taunton, having a train that goes so fast through our communities. But we certainly understand the concern, a lot of the concerns over the horn blowing, and
Yeah.
we've actually gone out to one of the neighborhoods. Several members of our team went out, and the legislative delegation as well, so that we could really see hear what they were experiencing and understand what they are experiencing. So we're kind of working on all fronts here to find out what mitigation efforts are possible and what we can do. And also have put it out there to anyone that does live near tracks and is experiencing, concerns about noise. We're more than happy to visit their neighborhood, to go out there and understand and really advocate for them. So right now that's where it's at, and it's taking, and it's going to take them some time, South Coast Rail, to kind of gather the information they need to put anything into progress for that. But they're very responsive and being in touch with us. We are looking forward to them coming in soon for an update to the community. I believe they're doing something in Fall River in October, which everyone is invited to. So we'll have that information available for our community as well. But we have, asked them to come directly to Taunton too.
Excellent. We'd be happy to share that along as well when you get that information. So with that activity happening there, I know there's going to be new housing going in. I know you broke ground on that recently. So what can you tell us about that?
Yes, so we recently broke ground on it. It's called 1141 County Street is the address. And so that's a project that's been, I don't know, it's taken a couple years to get to where we are today, where they have broken ground. And that's exactly what's supposed to happen in that area. So, new zoning requirements from the state that we had to implement for that area to allow for certain types of housing. And that was, kind of a mandate from the state, but something that taught and complied with right away, because we want to see the housing built around there and also the economic development that it brings. So that's about, I think, 270, 280 apartments that would be there. I think there's probably maybe 3 different buildings. And they're gonna be it's just gonna be a beautiful project, a beautiful development. And it's also going to bring in retail space as well. And of course, just the construction of that brings in new jobs and revenue to the city of Taunton. And then there'll be, of course, the long-term effects of having people that are going to be living there, coming to different areas of the city of Taunton in our community, visiting our businesses, visiting our restaurants. And so that's, we asked them their timeline when they were breaking ground, last week, and it's going to be a phased project. So with the, I think 3 different phases of the building. So when people hear about, geez, 280 apartments, it's not like, boom, you're gonna have 280 apartments filled in, this very short time frame. It is over a bit of a period of time that will happen.
Lisa, sorry, Mayor. Lisa, can you queue up the photo of 1141 just so people can see the rendering of what it'll look like? So the construction has already started on this, as the mayor has indicated. They're saying about an 18-month construction window. They are estimating to start renting these apartments in the 16th month, so a little over a year from now. It's going to be 137 1-bedroom units and 138 2-bedroom units. A separate site plan that will be heard probably in the next month will include a 4,900 square foot retail spot that'll be right at the top, like the best location in the city, right at the top of where you turn to get into the commuter rail station. So there's going to be, we're going to be working with the company to try to attract something that Taunton has never had before, a destination restaurant, or something to that effect on that. So that's something that will be coming as well. But right now the housing is under construction, and we're looking at 18-month window there to get that constructed. So
Jay, do you think that that 4,900 square foot retail, do you envision that being one space, not parceled out?
yeah, I mean, when we talked to them last week, they were talking about like a smaller, like maybe a 2,500 square foot, and they had mentioned a bank there, which wasn't really what I wanted to hear. No offense to the bankers on the call, but we'd really like some kind of destination spot there where it's like a family restaurant. There's so many requests for steakhouses and family restaurants and destinations like that. So we're hoping that it's going to be some kind of attraction, not only for the commuter rail people and the apartments there, but for everybody in the Taunton area to enjoy.
Yeah, so we really do talk to, the developers about kind of the needs of Taunton and try to work with them to ensure that we're bringing in businesses that benefit the entire community. And, Jay knows that one of my favorites is bringing in a really, really nice Italian restaurant here in Taunton to compliment us on that end of town. So we really do think about what would be best for the spot and what Taunton needs.
Yeah, that sounds great. And just to put my 2 cents in on what on what you're looking for, and I know that we've talked about this too, Jay, is a place that can accommodate an event space. And it doesn't have to be, ideally be a grand event space, but even just something where you could have a separate room to have something, with 50 people or 75 people or something like that, at that end of town too would be really helpful. So just putting my little plug in for that.
Great.
Thank you for all your work with that. We're excited to see it start being built soon. So on the other side of 24 regarding the casino. So we see that they've been expanding since opening earlier this year. What do you know about any future expansion plans? How big will this get? And do you have a vision, or do they share a vision of the full development of the space?
Yeah, so we were thrilled that, finally, what Taunton has voted for has started. We are also cognizant of any effects on the surrounding neighborhood. So we want to be also considerate of their concerns and their needs. But we were, really glad to finally get Taunton paid, number one, all the money that we were owed. So now the casino is completely up to date with all their pilot payments, and that just took a lot of like relationship building, collaboration, and I think it's something that a lot of people thought would never happen, and so here we are. And also now they started with a few slots, maybe 10 or so, and they increased that to 50, and now they're increasing that. We also wanted them to bring something else to the area to make it more of a destination. So they've added in some entertainment, which I believe has been very popular already. So people are really enjoying the concerts that happen there. And they're working on their alcohol license. I'm not sure if
I'll update that.
what's that?
I'll update that when you're done.
Okay, yeah. And then of course food. So it is going to be happening in phases. I think it's hard to say exactly or very precisely what happens when, but as you can see, they've already worked pretty quickly to go from, just the 10 slots up to, 250, add entertainment, add alcohol, and we'll be adding food. So go ahead, Jay, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I had talked to the tribe latter part of last week. Obviously, they're excited about what's going on there. When we go by there, no matter what time of day, it's always busy. I mean, I think there was one day we went by at like 10 a.m. and it was crowded. So that was awesome. As the mayor indicated, they have the concerts that have been going. Their liquor license is almost complete. They should have it within the month. So that'll be something to keep in mind. I mean, right now they're allowing people to bring their own beverage into the concerts, which I think is going to go to the end of September, Friday and Saturday night concerts. So definitely check out their website for that. It's been a very popular event. And for me, it's just any kind of destination into Taunton. I mean, concerts, the casinos, stuff like that. It's just more of a draw for people to go to restaurants in the area, to free play arcade or other things to do in the area. So we definitely are excited about this potential. As far as the future goes, there's nothing set in stone. Their idea is to have a full-fledged casino at that site. There's no design yet, so it's nothing that the city has seen or mulled over or anything at this point. It's definitely something that they want to bring to the table. It also will involve, as people can imagine, a lot of financing in order to build a full-fledged casino, but that's definitely where their end game is, including, restaurants at the site and other things to attract people. So we just don't have any timeline as far as when that's going to be happening, but that's definitely where their end game is on that.
Makes sense. Okay, so still on that end of town, the former Gallery and Mall site. Is there a plan for more development there? I imagine so. What might that look like?
Jay, you want to jump in?
You want to do those? Yeah, sure. So, I just wanted, I know I've kind of talked about this a little bit on the prior Q&As. I know it was a beloved retail site. The problem with the site was the people that have purchased it kind of paid a lot for it. So when we tried to go back and get some retail in, because it's more than 100 acres over there, it's just too expensive for retail to ever go back there. So it's one of those things, unfortunately, that we had to say goodbye to, because when you do retail, the land has to be very cheap. And unfortunately, the land is probably about $1 million an acre at this point. So it's just way too much for any kind of retail. We do have the first building was constructed on the site. It's 248,000 square feet. We've been working hard to get a business in there. We're probably a couple of weeks away from announcing it. We've got a water distribution company that's going to be going in there. They're just fine tuning, their financials and stuff like that. It's going to create about 75 jobs to start. It's going to be a few $1,000,000 of work that is going to be done at the site. So we'll be looking for additional taxes there, which will be great. There'll be some construction monies there, and we'll definitely get some traffic going into that site again. And what happens is when that building is half full, which we're anticipating this water distribution company is going to take the whole building. So what that'll mean is it will trigger the next building, which is going to be built on the exact spot where the mall was, 450,000 square feet of space. So that's something that we've tried to attract all different kinds of, life sciences, manufacturing. The mayor has been on like a ton of meetings with different, businesses trying to attract people to the site. I mean, let's face it, it's probably one of the best locations in the state. So it's just a matter of connecting the businesses, especially with the interchange is going to be all set in like a year. So that whole area is just going to be beautiful for business traffic coming in and out. So it's something that we're anticipating. This will be moving along rather quickly. This company is really excited. They've already approved coming to Taunton. It's just a matter of working out the financial dynamics of it. But hopefully by the next Q&A, we'll have a lot more to report on that site, because I know it's one of those sites that everybody is inquisitive about. So
Well, it sounds like you answered the second part of my question about that, which was when the highway work is anticipated to be completed. You mentioned a year. Is that the timeline you're looking
it's
at?
supposed to be mid 2026 is when the whole interchange project is supposed to be completed. It still looks like they've got a lot of work to do, because that's how I get to work every day. But that's what they've estimated is, mid 2026 for that all to be complete.
Awesome. And I feel your pain. I'm right there with you. 24. So let's talk about some new businesses. I know we've been cutting a lot of ribbons together this year alone. So we've seen so many new businesses open in the city. Can you talk about the strategies that you're using to attract businesses and how new business benefits the community?
Sure. And I think we'll all probably jump in on this one. Because you can never say enough about having new businesses moving to Taunton. And, one thing I want to do is thank the chamber and all your members and your board, because everyone is so supportive. And when businesses feel supported, they know they have this great organization like the chamber, all these other great businesses that are in Taunton. That makes a difference too. So that's definitely part of it. Our goal is always to make Taunton a destination. And so you can see the transformation in our neighborhoods. And so much goes into what a developer or a business thinks about when they want to move into your community. And one of those things is infrastructure. Do they have good roads, good water? And so all the things that we work on kind of connect, like our CIP plan, our blighted properties plan, because we're really improving our infrastructure. We're beautifying the whole entire city in different ways. And we really think about what businesses fit best in either, our downtown or our Ware or Winton area. And I've got to say that, Jay Paticos and his team, they are fantastic and really being, aggressively marketing our city and reaching out to businesses and bringing them here. But I think at the same time, businesses are knocking on our door. Developers are knocking on our door because they see all of the wonderful things happening in Taunton, the economic development, the support that we give to our businesses, whether that's our rent rebate program, our facade program, low interest loans, different types of grants. And, word gets around and people see Taunton as a real leader and a great place to be. And so we can see in our downtown how it's becoming the downtown that we all used to know, right, when we were younger. And so we now have the bookstore down there, and Jay worked really hard on that. We have a great clothing boutique. We have spas, coffee shops, just places to be. Ice cream, walk up ice cream window. And so we're also working on the Ware section as well to attract the right businesses there. The Baconfeld property, people look at that and they know that that's going to be a catalyst for that area, and it's going to just really bring up the whole entire neighborhood. So people are going to want to look at, wow, future development in the Ware is going to be a good bet for me. Also in Whittington, redoing Whittington Mills, that is going to really improve that whole entire neighborhood, bring more people in. You definitely need, foot traffic and people to patronize even, the local businesses in the neighborhoods. So all those things go into it, and we meet all the time in our team to really talk about what spaces do we need to fill, what are the needs of Taunton, and really be strategic in how we develop the downtown and develop our different neighborhoods here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna skip ahead quick and then go back, I guess. But so Lisa had put up, this is the Whittington Mills rendering. This is one of the questions that's coming next, I believe, but this is 390 units and 10,000 square feet of retail space. Hopefully going to be a bakery and a restaurant is what we've had worked out so far. Right now, this is under appeal, but we are estimating that that should be over in the next week or so, and it will move forward. They will start tearing down the mills and remediating the property, and then starting to build. There'll be 9 separate buildings, I believe, 39 units, 10 separate buildings, 39 units in each building. And this is the rendering for the Whittington Mills.
And if I could just add, I mean, there's been a lot of misinformation put out publicly by folks. This is a $35 million net positive deal for the city. So that the city is going to receive numerous financial incentives with this structure being built, as well as remove significant liability to a severely blighted property and dangerous exposures to the community.
Yeah. I mean, as everyone knows, that this has been crumbling for many, many, many years. And, recently we had an issue where the roof was blowing off and we had to, get in there and shore it up. We had to knock one of the buildings down. And it's a very hard to develop site because it is so large, because it is contaminated. And we've had many different developers over the years come look at it and couldn't walk away fast enough. So the fact that it's actually being developed, it's going to be this beautiful project, is really good for Taunton. And again, I want to stress that when you do these projects, they're phased in over a period of time. And so that, the infrastructure is built up so that the community can absorb it. And the need for housing is so great, not only in Taunton, but all over the state. But there is a dire need for new housing. And we're having that on both ends of Taunton right now. So that's a really positive thing for the community.
Okay,
So maybe,
go ahead, Jay.
maybe we could go back to the new businesses. I don't know if Shaunna, if you
Yes.
had anything else to add on the new businesses.
If I could just add something quickly, I think another attribute to why we've been so successful in attracting new businesses is that permitting processes has been updated and modified. It's much easier now for businesses to get permits. It's all digitalized. So I think that's a major achievement when we implemented Permitize. I think that's one reason. Another reason I think is the fact that the mayor's office has an open door. I mean, we're constantly bringing in people to meet. Jay brings people in all the time. Concerns from business owners or potential owners and developers. They have a pass to come up here and speak to us and get the information firsthand. And I think that sets Taunton apart from a lot of other communities.
Well, it's a lot easier when you have a mayor that's so pro-business. When it comes to that, we often have discussions about how to help businesses in some way. She's constantly texting me like, can we do something for this business? Stuff like that. She goes to 100% of the ribbon cuttings, which is pretty impressive, even the tiny ones. I mean, you won't catch many mayors doing that. But I think it's been easy in a way that of trying to attract. You've got a downtown area that's seeing a rebirth from the Taunton performing arts center. We've got a new soul kitchen. I know the mayor alluded to Serendipity Books. I know everybody purchases on Amazon, but these places need us. So if you haven't been to this bookstore yet, go down there. She's one of the most wonderful people, Donna. And just buy a book. Just go into a bookstore and buy a book. Get off your computer, you know. And the mayor touched on Amori Boutique. That's another boutique place that just opened in the downtown area. You know, we have opening up probably in about 2 weeks is going to be Seven Spices, which is a Mediterranean takeout restaurant. That'll be 2 doors down from City Hall. So he'll be opening up takeout to start all kinds of Mediterranean food. He's targeting September 26th. So that's another restaurant that we're going to have as a destination in the downtown area. So that's definitely awesome. Hopefully, most of you have been to Free Play Bar Arcade. It's a retro arcade where the Pizzeria Uno's used to be on 104, and right down the street was Naughty Pine Diner. That's a brand new breakfast and lunch place that's open. That's eventually going to be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's another great location there. And he's looking for more sites in the city. He's had such a positive experience with opening this business that he's looking for a site to do a brewery, which is music to all of our ears. So it's definitely, and the urgent care too. The urgent care, South Coast Urgent Care, they're looking to be open in about a month. So we'll definitely, if we're not linked in together, make sure you do that because that's where I make all my announcements online. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming too.
There is, and I just have to jump in on the Free Play. If you haven't been there, it is so fun. Look, I never thought I would really like it because I don't play video games or stuff like that. But I'm telling you, you go there, you're gonna have a blast. So definitely check it out. And he's a great example of that business. They wrote us a nice letter, really thanking everyone from, you know, building to OECD to DPW about what a great experience they had, everyone they interacted with on our team. So it was nice to hear that from them. And we always strive to give people that experience when they come here to the city of Taunton.
I hear that too. So kudos to you all. So we're going to a different part of the city now. We're going to Winthrop Street. We know the Walgreens is closed. Going further down Winthrop, Ocean State Job Lot just closed. What, kind of efforts, and I know, Jay, I know you've been working and you've all been working on this part of town. Can you give us any updates?
Yeah, so, and I'll just start and I'll let Jay jump in because he's, very knowledgeable about all of these things and what's available and what's not in the city of Taunton. But one thing that everybody can look forward to, I think, is the renovation, the redevelopment, I guess, of Frank's Good Time Lounge. So that is going to be a beautiful restaurant. So we'll have another great restaurant in that end of town. And I think it's also going to have a few apartments above it as well. So one of the things that I talked about with Jay, because we talk about this too, obviously the where Ocean State was it's a private plaza. We try to work with owners, but we can't always make them do what we want. And the U-Haul company wanted to expand, but there's not a lot available on that end of town as well, because we're constantly talking about, and I live on that end of town too, so I know what everyone's saying. But we're always talking about, all right, what can we put down there? Is there any space available? How can we make it better? But one thing that, and Jay probably knows the timeline better than I do, but it's going to be a beautiful family restaurant that we'll have right there on Winthrop Street. Jay?
Yeah, so Frank's, it'll probably start construction in the next 2 to 3 months. There's going to be 6 new apartments above, but it will be a family style restaurant. It won't be a franchise. I'm kind of tired of the franchise kind of stuff in Taunton. We need family style restaurants. So this is one that will be. So that'll be awesome for that area. But like the mayor said, we've been kind of getting a little hammered in the Winthrop Street area. And just to go back like a year ago, we reached out to the U-Haul Plaza before Ocean State we even knew that Ocean State was not going to have their lease renewed, because that U-Haul Plaza, which used to be the Shaw's Plaza, is something that has a lot of space in that plaza. So when Jim and I went to visit the site, we were like, oh, we could get a pad site, we could get this, we could get that. So we reached out to U-Haul, and they were all very friendly, but they're like, thank you very much, but no, we want to keep doing more expansion of U-Haul. And For those who don't know me, I'm not a fan of storage facilities. For those who aren't in economic development, there's really no good thing that comes out of storage facilities. It creates a half a job. It does create a little bit of taxes, but from an economic development standpoint, I hate it because it's just taking up space and it's not a destination. It's just where hoarders put their stuff when they can't fit it in their house anymore. So unfortunately, we have enough of the storage facilities, including a whole plaza in U-Haul. So we've been targeting areas of that road to see if we could get these people to sell and maybe create retail plazas. There was an auto place. I'm not going to get into specific names, but there was an auto place on Winthrop Street that looked like they were going to be closing. And we had talked to them and it was 5 acres, and stuff like that. They were like, we can do a lot with a 5-acre parcel. They've since purchased 100 cars and now their lot is full again. So that's obviously changing. We've got a couple of other parcels on Winthrop that we're going after. I know everybody's talking about that beautifully designed cannabis location. I can't remember the address, but it looks like a high-tech building there, and that actually wasn't going to go through as a cannabis, but now it is. So I get a lot of questions about that, like what about that site? And we were initially thought we could develop that site or get a destination business in there that wasn't a cannabis. But unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever, they're going through the cannabis side. So we're looking at stuff. I know we've got the O'Reilly's is going to be building a new Taco Bell next door. There is one other pad site next door. We've been trying to attract other, places like, that, Dave's Hot Chicken. I know the mayor, is interested in Chick-fil-A. We've been going back and forth with Five Guys. So we're trying to get something that the city doesn't have in that area, but it's just very limited on the space, like the mayor had indicated.
Okay. Thanks for that update. A couple more things I'm hoping we can get through here as we're running short on time. What is the status of the public safety facility?
Love that question. So the public safety facility is becoming close to substantially complete. I think by December, there'll start to be some movement, and Patrick can jump in because he's at, every meeting every week and really knows all of the details. But that has been like just this amazing project that has gone so smoothly, on time, under budget, and it looks amazing already. And so we're very excited that the community, number one, I guess, that the community supported this project. That would, and that's what allowed us to move forward with the project. So by December, you'll see some movement, and it'll be between, it's gonna be a process to move in there. So it'll be between, I think, like December and next March for a full and complete move. Is that right, Patrick?
That's correct. The mayor hit the nail on the head. The city right now is already receiving some spaces from the contractor to us. Some of the rooms are already being turned over. It's kind of part of the process. Like our IT rooms are being turned over now because the IT infrastructure needs to get. We need our guys to get in there and make sure everything works before a TCO or CO gets issued. This project, as the mayor said, you want to talk about a complete team effort on this. I mean, from the city's team, from our contractors to our architects to our OPMs. I mean, from top to bottom, complete success. It's been, it's and these type of projects that tens of millions of dollars. Our change order meetings that occur weekly. I mean, we're talking about a couple grand here, a couple credits there. It's like you gotta scrounge together enough material for a change order. It's bizarre. It usually never happens that way. But very successful project, and part of that, the next phase of this project is will allow for a lot of the IT infrastructure, a lot of the office equipment, all that stuff's going to start being installed into the building over the next few weeks and months.
Thank you, Patrick, for that.
If we can add on to that, so we're replacing obviously our police station, and if anyone's ever been in there into the lower floors, it's just not a nice place for our men and women in uniform to have to work out of. although they never complain about it. And our fire stations, except for one, are all over 100 years old. So we're also working on a plan right now to replace 3 of our fire stations, our other fire stations as well. Central Fire Station is the one that will be vacated and will be moving to the new public safety facility. And right now we're working on the Ware Fire Station, where I'm sure everyone's familiar with it, but it's just sitting on this corner. There's really no room. The floors are a mess. We've had to put money into it just to keep it safe for our, firefighters. And so we sat down last year and said, we need to come up with a plan. So we're close to a plan to hopefully replace that one. There's, obviously a process to go through and different steps we have to go through. But we're really excited that we're moving towards a plan to start with Aware and then eventually either renovate or replace our other fire stations as well.
Excellent. We have just about another couple of minutes, so I wanted to ask you about the Neighborhood Revitalization Task Force. Has there been any, what's happening with them?
Okay, I'm gonna have Patrick and Jake come in on this one, but I'll just give a little background on it. We have been working a lot to beautify our entire community, and we knew that there were some problem properties. And there are different departments that handle different things within the when you talk about blighted properties, it could be Board of Health, it could be the building commissioner, it could be fire. So what we did was create this task force to bring everyone together all in one room so that we could look at each property and address all of the issues with it. And so some really good stuff has come out of this property because, from helping a veteran who was living by himself and was really in poor health, to connect with his family and get services, to finding another house where the family was unaware that the property was in such bad shape, and they came in to help, with the loved one that was living there. So it's really about trying to see if we can bring the property up to where it needs to be. And sometimes that means connecting family members again together because they don't understand what's happening. Sometimes it means us helping people to, find another place because their property is so bad. And sometimes the family will end up selling it, and or they'll just bring it back to where it needs to be. So it's been very successful in either getting rid of the blighted properties or bringing them back up to acceptable code, so that we're also affecting all of the neighbors and the neighborhood in that area as well. So we've identified some. We're always happy to hear. I mean, Taunton's a pretty big city, as everyone knows. So we're always also happy to hear from people. Is there a blighted property that we are unaware of? But we've done a pretty good job in cataloging them and identifying them and dealing with the blighted properties. And I'll let Patrick jump in on this because he's really leading the team on that one.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So we came into the city council to provide an update where we were at, sort of what I call just like in the first wave or round one, just similar to what we did with the Marketable properties program. So round one, we identified about 12 or 13 parcels. We can happily report now that 1/3 of those properties have been managed. By way of, as the mayor said, it's always the cautious approach first, but we always want to be cognitive of individual situations. So the best case scenario happened in, and about 75% of those cases where the family got involved. The other case, we were successful in demolishing an unsafe structure and safeguarding the surrounding neighborhood with that. And we're ready to execute receiverships on 3 properties and take by way of tax title another property in this program. So I would say in eight or 9 months or so, we were successful with about 70% of the program dealing with those properties. Some of the properties are just simply more challenging to deal with than others. But I would say on another first ever program, 70% to be done before a year is a pretty impressive task force. And I think the other component of it is like what are you continuously seeing? The silos at City Hall have been broken down. Everybody's operating as a team, as a unit, right? All these divisions getting together is a very serious thing. They have power, they have code enforcement authority, right? They have decision-making authority, and they're all in there together, focused on one common goal.
Also, great way to end our time today. We're running out of time. We have just under a minute. Thank you all. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jay and Patrick. Thank you, Lee and Team LP Online for sponsoring us today. I do want to mention that next Friday at 9 a.m. at Segregated Country Club is our legislative breakfast, and our entire delegation is going to be there. So please register through our website, and we hope to see many of you there. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chris.
Thank you, everyone.